I'm not a racist, preach the teacher. You still they never had this. Number one, never wanna run about the gun. I wasn't licensed to have one. The minute they see me, fear me. I'm the epitome, a public enemy. Use, abuse, without screws. I refuse to blow fuse. They even had it on the news. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. Back when I wrote y'all, yes.
I am not a New Yorker, but I have worked in New York City most of my life. I started at the New York Daily News at the age of 21. I drove into the New York City area. I took the train the first year before I got my NYP plates. And ever since I got them plates, I never looked back because it allowed me to drive and park different. And New York is a troublesome place to drive into and try to find parking. But yeah, as a journalist in New York, I have been on every subway, been to every borough. I used to cover high school sports, spent a lot of time in Staten Island and the Bronx, Kennedy versus Clinton. And then when I was on the news desk at night, on the subway, covered education for the editorial board. So I'm at the teachers union and, all throughout the city. So I've been through several mayors. I remember when Dinkins was mayor and the Crown Heights situation happened. And I actually interviewed the one of Gavin Cato's dad when he was killed during that Crown Heights riot under Dinkins administration. So I'm a New York adjacent person, even though I'm from Jersey, in terms of New York having an impact on my life and career. So I saw what happened with David Dinkins and how that Crown Heights riot upended his career and led us to Giuliani, because law and order was important during Dinkins' administration. Harlem had a lot of street vendors. Some of you remember back in the day, and I'm talking to you with institutional memory. I covered the street vendors, the African street vendors to be exact, who would line up along 125th Street with their incense and oils and the books and all of the cloths and all the different, every kind of thing you can get from Senegal or Ghana would be lined up along 125th Street. It was untenable for the people who had businesses there because the folk there, they didn't have a place to go to the bathroom. It was too, sort of like the crime bill, how people complain about the crime bill, but during the height of the crime, they were saying, do something. Well, Giuliani came in with this broken windows thing that cleared off everyone, and it changed the culture of Harlem. Some would say for the better. It led to gentrification. I would say not necessarily for the better. I think there should be a solution that involves the community as well. I also participated in the Apollo Theater renovation. Matter of fact, it was a tour that the New York Daily News's editorial board, of which I was a part of, went to the Apollo Theater when Percy Sutton and Charles Rangel were somehow overseeing something that was a historic landmark and then making money off of it. And we did these exposés, 11 editorials to be exact, which led to a Pulitzer. I'm going to say less about that, but I was in the rooms with Y.T. Walker and Al Sharpton talking about what needs to happen with the Apollo Theater. So inside out game, institutional knowledge right here, been in rooms. I watched Giuliani turn the city into a quasi-police state. I watched stop and frisk, not just suborn the rights of many, many millions of Black men in particular, but also create a sort of fear under his watch. I think we had Abner Louimer. I think we had Sean Bell. There were so many incidents of Patrick Dorsman, Gideon Bush. There were so many people under siege in a city because the broken windows theory got rid of all of the squeegee guys, which I personally am okay with because I don't want dirty water on my windshield. I just got my car washed. No, thank you. No, thank you. I know you need to make a buck because you're unhoused. But how about we deal with the unhoused situation, which we still haven't, by the way. So I remember Giuliani. I remember 9/11. I was writing a column for the New York Daily News when 9/11 happened. And I remember Giuliani going into a bunker while Rudy Washington took over and got people out of the city safely and presided over what was one of the best, but also the worst, because Giuliani did not fund the first responders with walkie-talkies. I'm taking you through a little history just to say that institutional knowledge is important. It's important for people who are covering these cases like Eric Adams. We're about to talk about him in a second, to know some things. Journalism needs to be better. We need to have a depth of knowledge because people are going to the polls electing people like Eric Adams, former police officer, former Brooklyn borough president. I remember when he got elected, and I was like, that's strange that a police officer, like I thought it was strange how he was borough president. Shout out to Brooklyn. Why did y'all do that? 866-801-8255. Because he's one of y'all. But sometimes we send people who look like us and they feel like us because they're from us, but they're not like us, meaning they're not going to do the things that need to be done when they get there. So here we have a mayor, and I'm not finished because 9/11, Giuliani in a bunker. He was on his way out of Gracie Mansion because he brought his mistress in. I remember the headlines. I was sitting in the newsroom when his wife, who we know, Donna Hanover, those of you who are from New York, yeah, she was a reporter on the news, on locally, on the news. His wife and his children in Gracie Mansion, he bringing a mistress in. And the city was like, oh, you suck. We don't like you. Maybe you'll get impeached. I don't know, but we're definitely not voting for you again. And then here comes 9/11. Then that brought in Bloomberg, right? Bloomberg's going to put the city back together. And then he got another, he like broke the rules and got a third term. Businessman, billionaire. Should he be mayor? Is he a Republican? Is he a Democrat? A lot of conversation around that. Then we had de Blasio, who I felt like was the most low rent mayor you ever had. And he got elected primarily because his son had a nice afro. But maybe there was another reason. I don't know. Again, spent most of my career in New York, and I've watched him, and maybe it wasn't wrong for him to look at the outer boroughs over New York City, but that's where your money's being made. You're the manager, you're the CEO of the city. You want to make sure the city where the money is made is clean and safe and all of those things. Yes, the outer boroughs deserve attention. It's nice that you shovel your yard. It's nice. But I don't know if he was a great mayor. I don't know. But then we had this ranked voting thing. And this is now I'm on the radio, right? We're going through this ranked voting. And there were a lot of good, solid candidates who could have, including Ray McGuire, who actually can run a whole company, could probably run a city really well. Definitely a stand-up guy, Ray McGuire. Definitely Maya Wiley. Definitely cares, going to show up and going to put together a good team because she's solid. And because of that, the votes got split 3-4 ways because there were a lot of solid candidates. And here this guy comes, and I said, oh, this is not going to end well. How is Eric Adams? He's a whole ass mess, y'all. And I'm not even getting into the personal stuff, which I can, but I won't because this is irrelevant. Or maybe it's not. Maybe how a person runs their life is how we should determine whether or not they should run the country, Donald Trump and others. Maybe that should be a marker. If your life is a mess, I don't know. So we're going to just hand you the keys to the city and to the state and to the damn, give you the nuclear codes? You can't even keep a wife. I'm not talking about Eric Adams right now. I'm talking about Trump. But I don't think there's any difference per se, maybe. But it looks like where they have Sean Combs held in this Brooklyn jail might get crowded because the mayor of New York City, innocent until proven guilty, 58-page indictment just came down last night. We were sitting at dinner, people popping up on their phones. I had my phone turned off because I want to be present when I'm with people. Y'all know, those of you who've hung out with me at Healthy Wealthy Bars, you don't see me on my phone. I'm there to be with the people. So I didn't know what was going on. Everybody's like, ooh. And I was like, okay, good. Because we already seen his police chief step down. I think his education person stepped down, like folk resigning, people's houses being, searched, boxes coming out of people's houses in his cabinet. So 58-page indictment. I printed it all out. Those of you who want to read it, which you should read all these indictments. You should know what is at stake here. But I'm going to give you a brief version. We'll tweet out, and I'm sure Zan and Nubia, shout out to the Nubians. I love it there. Zan and Nubia probably put the PDF in because she's just amazing. As are everyone, all the people in Nubia. But I'll just give you a breakdown of what's in the 58-page indictment. And I would love to hear from New Yorkers. And if you voted for Eric Adams, again, much like this election now, please tell me why. What was the main issue? What was the main issue? Because one could argue his early career as the head of 100 blacks in law enforcement. Who cares? This is how far back I go. He and Mark Claxton used to be regulars on my first radio show. I used to do a morning show in New York City, 1600 AM, WWRL, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern. They would be on regularly talking about police brutality and other things. Mostly Mark Claxton. Shout out to him. Amazing human being. I thought maybe there would be a possibility, but when soon as he got elected to Brooklyn Borough President, he changed the possibilities of more power. Then people were whispering that he could actually be a presidential nominee. I said, where? How? Who? But then we had Trump, so anything's possible. Anything's possible. But we gotta want more, don't we? We should expect and want more from people who lead us. They should be better than the worst of us. I want my leaders to be great. And it's aspirational, right? It is something that we have to beat people into, not physically, but we have to cajole and push people into greatness when they are representing us, because they're representing us. Does that represent you, New York? All right, number one. First, there's a Turkish house bribery. There was a bribery back in September of 2021. Free business class flights to Ghana. This is the bribe for Adams and his partner. Worth $14,000. Oh, business class is $14,000 to Ghana. I didn't pay that. Let me just say that. I went to Ghana. Y'all know I went to Ghana. I ain't paying no $14,000 for no damn. And I flew first class. But I'm gonna say less about that. Okay, action pressured FDNY to allow occupancy of Turkish house. So he went there. He said he was going to study. So there was a business trip. So New York paid for this trip to Ghana that he allegedly was there to check out some stuff. Okay, construction company, straw donations. All right, this is back in December. And shout out to Chris Evans on Twitter, who also helped break this down. Construction company, straw donations, December 2020. Eric Adams allegedly accepted $10,000 in a straw donation from business people, number four's construction company. Adams later assisted this same business with Department of Buildings issues. Okay, and let me go back to the Turkish thing. So he pressured FDNA, the fire department, to allow occupancy of Turkish houses at 821 United Nations. So he got the trip paid for to Ghana by the Turkish house people, and then he pressured FDNY to allow them to put their stuff in the United Nations 821. All right. $10,000 from this construction company, assisted the same construction company with Department of Buildings issues. Turkish University contributions. So he, according to the indictment, he accepted $10,000 in foreign contributions funneled through U.S.-based employees. 3 employees made $2,000 contributions each, and then they were reimbursed. So that's like a little money laundering thing. And then back to another business, straw donation. He accepted $22,000 in straw donations from this business construction company. And then the company provided $1,250 to 10 employees who then donated the money back to Adams. Interesting. All right. Foreign contributions fundraiser. He accepted foreign contributions for 2025 campaign through straw donors. Foreign nationals paid $5,000 each to attend an event, and then the money was funneled through the United States citizens. So it didn't look, so you know what you're doing, because you know it's illegal to take money from a foreign agent. So you had it funneled through, allegedly, according to the indictment. Also, there were multiple instances of accepting free business class flights, luxury hotel stays. For example, 2019 trip to Turkey with free stay in a cosmopolitan suite at the St. Regis Istanbul. That's fancy. Doesn't he get paid enough? I'm not going to get in the man's pockets, but And then one could say, oh, everyone does it, but this is what we're saying. Clarence Thomas and them shouldn't do it. I don't think we want Supreme Court justices taking trips and stuff, and I think it's unethical at the very least, even if it's not illegal, but they're saying it's illegal. All right, let me get more straw donations. According to the indictment, Eric Adams agreed to accept straw donations from business people. This is the sixth one now. Plan to use the company's drivers as straw donors. So they would give the money and the company would pay. So straw donations, I guess a company that's not supposed to donate gives the money to other people who can donate. And then those donations go to the person that you want to influence to get things done. Now, Mayor Adams, I believe he makes $258,000 a year as mayor, and he has housing that he doesn't have to pay for at Gracie Mansion. He is among the highest paid mayors in the entire country, but New York is the largest city. So one could argue that he deserves that, right? But I don't know how this is going to all shake out, but I'm just going to say this with my full chest. I am not surprised. I'm not shocked or awed. I'm not clutching my pearls. Not at all. Okay. But it looks like, if he's convicted, that federal prison where Puffy is, that also now houses Sam Bankman-Fried. As a matter of fact, fun little tidbit, Combs has been placed in the same cell in the Brooklyn jail with convicted crypto fraudster Sam Bankman-Fried. According to the New York Times, the two are not cellmates in the classic sense. They're not sharing the same jail room, but they're both sleeping in a larger dormitory style at the Metropolitan Detention Center with several other defendants who I'm sure are in the same class of fame and notoriety as they are. The Times confirmed that the arrangement they confirmed this arrangement through a source, but the Bureau for Prisons declined to speak on the matter. So we don't know for sure, but the New York Times has got confirmation, and they got room for Eric Adams there. That could be very interesting. The Southern District of New York unsealed its 5-count indictment against Mayor Eric Adams in connection with the contributions to his 2021 mayoral campaign, including from wealthy foreign business people that we just mentioned, and at least one Turkish government official, which we just mentioned. The charges include 1 count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud, federal program bribery, and conspiracy to receive campaign. Well, he did actually, so there's no conspiracy. Receive campaign contributions by foreign nationals, illegal. 1 count of wire fraud, 2 counts of solicitation of a contribution by a foreign national, and 1 count of bribery. Adams has strongly denied any wrongdoings. He said, I'm innocent, and I will fight this with every ounce of my strength and spirit. So unlike others, like Al Franken, who didn't do this at all, people with character sometimes, I got caught, or, this is too much for the city. The city deserves something better. It's too much drama. Let me step down. He's not stepping down. Matter of fact, I think he's going to do the Bob Menendez thing until it gets too much. But I'm going to take you back. He was on the Breakfast Club. Just to give you those of you who don't know Eric Adams, and to me, this is not about Eric Adams, this conversation. This is about our capacity to elect people, because you don't know. It's just like dating, I guess. You don't know if a person's going to be a serial killer until they reveal themselves. I'm not saying that he is. You don't know if a person's going to be, let me not be so hyperbolic, a horrible person, because people are always going to show their best, especially politicians. They're going to show you how great they are until they get in. But once you know, there should be no defense, people. Some of us knew, though, or at least suspected that this was going to be a good thing for New York because there were better candidates. But we can do better, and we deserve better, and we should show up for ourselves and the future of the cities that we live in and the country that we live in, and we should not let bad people lead us because they represent us. They literally are our representatives. And if this is not you, if this is not how you roll, character should be number one. We can get to policies later because a lot of people, if you've never been president, you're going to learn that job. Most people who are president have never been president before they were president. Things you're going to learn. I do know that vice presidents, though, get to see the job up close, like a Biden, for example, and now Kamala Harris, for example. But, once you realize who a person is, we should say something. But again, I don't pay taxes in New York. I just work there a lot. So, that's a lie. I do pay taxes in New York. I pay New York taxes. I can say whatever I need to say. Shoot, Smiz, you do too? Okay, we live in Jersey and pay New York. Come on now. So we got something to say. I pay taxes. All right.
My days are cooler, nights are warmer, and I put the blame on you. Time moves slow, but my heart beats faster. When these eyes are looking right at you, right at you. You give me something to believe in, just what I needed. You're the closest.